Hey guys, so with this video, I'm going to talk about styling products that I use after I wash and dry my hair, just towel drying my hair. One product I really liked was this Healthy Sexy Hair. It has soy in it and it's an oil. It's really good to help with any of the dry, damaged sort of a rough texture. Unfortunately, I found out that it's been discontinued. So something super important that I always say is to be ready to try something new, because whatever someone might have said was a replacement for it, apparently is not. It's just different product. So it'll have to be something that I will have to explore, do research, see what I want to try next. For thermal protection, I use Silk Infusion. And this, a little bit goes a long way. So you can just rub it in your hands and just disperse it like all the way through your hair, all the way to the ends, especially the ends. Anything that you do with your hair, you put extra on your ends. I use those. I have used the Paul Mitchell Super Skinny product to help with frizz, and I found that you have to use a lot of it in order. Like the product itself is good, but with ethnic hair, it just doesn't. You have to use a lot of it to really have that throughout your hair to really help with the frizz. I haven't really, there was only one detangling styling product that I've used. It was something that had Moroccan oil. I don't quite remember all of it. It was a pump though. And one thing, if you have longer hair, using a pump sucks because it takes forever to do that. But as far as other brands, I haven't really found anything that helps with detangling per se. After you wash and towel dry your hair, and after you put in some of the oils to soften up your hair, one thing that I do, if your roots are coming in natural, you don't want to start brushing your roots. You're going to want to start near the bottom, get rid of that, and then slowly move up higher and higher. And then you can get to a point where you may or may not be able to brush your roots, but that's okay, because when you put in another product or heat, it'll have it lay down. But the important thing is to not pull your hair out, basically, by trying to do that. I usually blow dry just the roots because I want to let my hair air dry, but the roots are always going to take longer to dry than your ends. And it also depends on how much time you have. Are you are you washing your hair during the week when you have a lot of things going on? And so air drying isn't as helpful. Can you do it as soon as you get home? Then you have 2 or 3 hours for your hair to dry out. Can you do it on the weekends, right? So it just depends on how much time you have, and then decide how much of the roots are further in that actually needs to be dried a little bit so that it will dry at the same time as the rest of the hair. That's another thing, is when you're sleeping at night. So we've talked about scarves and silk pillowcases and all of that, but sometimes when your scarf, your hair gets kind of weird shapes in it, right? And so instead of just trying to put heat on it, you can use this. Olive oil is a hair lotion, so it absorbs into your hair. And you can use it, it's so thick and heavy that you can use it uh, almost like a hair gel, basically, but it just soaks into your hair. Very thick. You'll be able to just feel how heavy it is. If you want just flat hair, this is perfect. If you want to curl your hair, it's just going to fall straight down. And you can see already how much it helps to get rid of frizz. And one thing you can also do is put this on before you go to bed. And so it'll really hold the hair together with the moisture. So this product I only use about once or twice a week. It depends. But as we're going into the winter season, your hair gets drier. So 2 to 3, maybe 4 times. It just depends on how dry your hair is, basically. But for your ends, really great product if your hair, for your ends. And then there's this olive oil. This is good for daily use, every 1 to 2 days. And it's meant specifically for as an anti-breakage product. So this was another one of those things that I learned just thinking about my ends and needing to keep those as healthy as possible. And so having a daily oil keeps your head, moist. And once your hair actually is dry, right now I use this hair grease, and I don't know if I can necessarily say for that in comparison to maybe some of the other oils, how well it really keeps your scalp moist. And so I personally, I use it a lot. This just works for me. And a big part of it is smell. So before you buy a product, make sure you like how it smells. Like personally, this lotion one, it smells like olive oil, whatever, but I don't really like the smell. But that goes and proves the point that even if you don't like a smell, the product is what matters. And with this lotion, I could put this oil that smells good or something like that on top of it, right? So I'm still getting the moisture of it once it soaks in. Then you can put on something that you think smells better, basically. For shampoos and conditioners, I always care a lot about the smell. And for any of the products, unless they work really well, like that hair lotion, it's worth having to put something on afterwards, right? So whenever I wash my hair, which is once a week, once it is dry, then I put the hair grease on my scalp, and I actually put some of it on the strands for the hair shaft, because once you blow dry and flat iron your hair, the grease is almost going to be like an adhesive. It's going to really hold whatever position that is. So with a lot of people working remotely, you don't really need to add heat too much unless you're going somewhere, or if you just want to, that's fine. But it's just an option that if you don't necessarily want to flat iron your hair or do something like that, you can put something heavy like this, which will get your hair to lay down. And so, again, this is something where you have to try everything out for yourself. But the one product I do swear by, live and die by, is this one. So anytime your hair is super dry, it helps you feel it immediately. So going into the next video, I'm going to talk about the hair tools that I use after I've put in the product for the styling.